Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're tackling something that feels increasingly rare in our busy lives. Genuine fun.
Yeah, real fun.
Exactly. We're drawing inspiration from Catherine Price's book, The Power of Fun, which really makes you stop and think. When was the last time you experienced that truly uninhibited, joyful laughter? You know, the kind that makes your sides ache.
Right. Not just like passively scrolling or watching something, but real engaged fun.
Mm-hmm.
It's a question that probably resonates with a lot of folks. We fill our days with activities, sure, but that deep sense of playful joy often feels like it's missing. Makes you wonder why that is.
Absolutely. And that's precisely what we're diving into today. We want to understand what this real fun actually is, explore why it seems to be fading from modern life, and importantly, figure out how you can bring more of it back into your own day-to-day.
Okay.
Price's work suggests that true fun isn't just about entertainment. It has these three core ingredients: connection, flow, and playfulness.
Those are insightful pillars. Connection. Well, as we'll explore, it goes beyond just being in the same room as others. It's about truly sharing an experience.
Right.
Flow is that wonderful feeling of being so absorbed in something that time just seems to, well, vanish.
Yeah, I love that feeling.
And playfulness.
Yeah.
It's that lighter, more open way of engaging with the world. You
Yeah.
know, a willingness to embrace silliness.
The book uses a really good example of a laughter yoga session. You can picture it. Strangers might initially feel kind of self-conscious, maybe a bit silly.
Oh, definitely.
But through the act of letting go, being present in the shared absurdity, and simply playing along, they end up genuinely laughing together. It beautifully illustrates how these three elements can combine.
That's a great example.
So as we unpack this, maybe you, listener, can reflect on a moment in your own life that felt truly fun and see if those elements, connection, flow, playfulness, were present.
It's a useful mental exercise, yeah.
Yeah.
Often when we look back at those really joyful moments, we can spot those components at play, even if we didn't consciously, analyze them at the time.
So let's dig deeper into this idea of what real fun is. We often think of fun as just another word for entertainment. You know, watching a show, playing a video game, going to a party, stuff like that. But the book really pushes back on that, arguing that while those things can be enjoyable, they don't always give us that deeper, more fulfilling sense of real fun.
Exactly. Entertainment can often be a passive experience, something we consume without fully, participating. Real fun, on the other hand, usually requires us to be actively involved and engage with those three key elements we just mentioned.
Let's break those down a bit more then. Connection, as we've touched on, is about genuinely being present with others. It's that feeling on a shared moment, a feeling seen and understood, even if it's just in the context of something lighthearted and silly.
And what's interesting to consider is how easily this sense of true connection can be eroded, in our digitally saturated world.
Oh, for sure.
We can be physically surrounded by people, but still feel completely isolated if our attention is constantly pulled elsewhere by our devices.
Yeah.
Real connection needs us to be fully there, engaged with the people and the moment in front of us.
Yeah.
It's not just about being in the same room. It's about mutual attention and a feeling of shared emotional space.
And we have flow. Oh, I love thinking about flow. That sensation of being so completely absorbed in an activity that everything else just fades away, even time itself.
Right.
It could be anything from like a challenging project at work where you're totally in the zone to a hobby that completely captivates your attention.
The magic of flow lies in that feeling of almost effortless action paired with intense focus. You're not dwelling on the past or worrying about the future. You're completely immersed in the present activity. This state can be incredibly rewarding and is often a core ingredient of real fun, especially when the activity itself is something you genuinely enjoy. Think of that feeling when you're so absorbed, the outside world just disappears and you're operating at peak performance without really thinking about it.
And finally, playfulness. This feels so essential, doesn't it? That lighthearted, open attitude, a willingness to be a little silly, to not take ourselves too seriously all the time.
Absolutely. Playfulness allows us to experiment, to be spontaneous, and to find joy in unexpected corners of life. It's about approaching the world with a sense of curiosity and, fun, even in the more mundane aspects.
Yeah.
Without that element of lightness, even connection and deep engagement might feel more like work than genuine fun,
That's a really good point. So thinking back to those times you've had truly memorable fun, listener, did they involve that genuine connection, that feeling of being totally engrossed in that lighthearted, playful spirit? Definitely something worth reflecting on.
It really helps to differentiate those experiences of deep joy from times when we were merely entertained or maybe just trying to distract ourselves. There's a very different quality to the feeling.
Now let's consider why this real fun seems harder to come by these days. The book talks about this idea of a fun drought, and that really struck a chord with me.
Fun drought. I like that.
It paints a picture of modern life where we're so focused on productivity, so constantly connected to our devices and the endless stream of social media, and so overwhelmed by our to-do lists that we've almost forgotten how to prioritize or even recognize real fun. I know, I've definitely felt that way sometimes.
It's a powerful metaphor. We're constantly striving for efficiency and accomplishment, often at the expense of activities that bring us pure, unadulterated joy without, a tangible outcome.
Right.
There seems to be this underlying societal pressure to always be doing something that can be justified as productive.
That example in the book about friends getting together for dinner, but some are more engrossed in their phones than the conversation, it really illustrates this point perfectly.
Oh, yeah. Seen that happen. Been there.
You're with people you presumably want to connect with, but the lure of our digital lives is so strong that genuine presence and interaction often take a backseat. We're physically together, but mentally miles apart, which directly undermines that connection element so vital for real fun. Guilty as charged sometimes.
And it's not just that our devices distract us from potential fun. They also offer this kind of illusion of fun themselves. We might spend hours passively scrolling through social media thinking we're relaxing or having fun.
Yeah, relaxing.
But the book raises a crucial question.
Yeah.
Is that genuine fun? Or is it just a way of, numbing ourselves or avoiding other things?
Exactly. We often gravitate towards these passive activities because they require minimal effort, but they rarely leave us feeling truly recharged or joyful in the same way that real fun does. It's almost like comfort food might satisfy a craving in the moment, but doesn't provide any real lasting nourishment.
Good analogy. And Catherine Price highlights a fascinating piece of research called the happiness curve. This study found that individuals who actively schedule fun into their week report significantly higher levels of life satisfaction.
Wow, actively schedule it.
Yeah. This really underscores the idea that fun isn't some frivolous luxury. It's a fundamental ingredient for our overall well-being.
That completely reframes how we should think about fun, doesn't it? It shifts it from something that's nice to have if there's time to something that's essential, right up there with getting enough sleep and eating well.
Pretty much.
So how do we actually start to bring more of this vital fun back into our lives? The book introduces this really practical concept called the fun audit.
The fun audit, okay? It's a very proactive and insightful approach, actually. It encourages us to consciously examine our lives, to identify those moments when we've genuinely experienced fun, and also to pinpoint the things that might be currently hindering our ability to have more of it.
It's a three-step process, apparently. First, you take some time to really think back and identify past moments of genuine fun. Try to recall times when you felt truly alive, energized, joyful. And you make a note of what you were doing, who you were with, and what made those moments so special.
This first step is so important because it helps us understand our own personal fun blueprint. What kinds of activities, what types of environments, what kinds of interactions truly spark joy for us. We often lose touch with these things if we get caught up in the daily grind.
Totally. Okay, step 2 is all about becoming aware of the distractions, those things that eat up our time and mental energy that could otherwise be used for fun.
The fun thieves.
Exactly, the fun thieves. Think about excessive phone use, those tasks we keep putting off but that still weigh on our minds, or those stress-induced habits that prevent us from truly relaxing and being present. Could perfectionism or, FOMO, also be considered fun-stealing distractions?
Oh, absolutely. Anything that consistently pulls our attention away from the present moment or creates a sense of obligation or anxiety can definitely act as a barrier to fun. It takes a level of self-awareness to identify these fun thieves in our own lives.
And the third step is where we take action. Making space for fun. It's about consciously prioritizing fun, just like we would prioritize a work deadline or an important appointment. It's about actively scheduling it into our lives and treating it with a similar level of importance.
It might feel a little strange at first, to actually schedule fun.
Sure, it seems counterintuitive.
But the reality is if we don't intentionally carve out time for it, it often gets pushed to the bottom of the list by all the other demands on our time and energy.
The book shares a really relatable story about a woman named Lisa who was completely burned out from her demanding job.
Okay.
Through doing a fun audit, she rediscovered her deep love for music. Even though she had no prior experience, she decided to join a local drum circle. She didn't know anyone, felt a bit awkward at first,
Brave move.
but she decided to go for it.
And what's so insightful about Lisa's experience is what happened next. Despite being a complete beginner, she had a fantastic time. She connected with the other participants. She was fully engaged in learning a new skill and creating music, that sense of flow we talked about. And there was a strong element of playfulness in just experimenting with sound and rhythm together.
Exactly. It ticked all those boxes of real fun connection, flow, playfulness, even in a situation that might have initially felt a little outside her comfort zone.
Yeah.
It really highlights that fun isn't necessarily about being an expert or achieving a specific outcome. It's about the experience itself.
And it demonstrates the power of actively seeking out opportunities for fun rather than just passively waiting for them to maybe happen spontaneously.
So true. So how can we translate these ideas into our daily lives? The book offers some really practical suggestions for weaving more fun into our routines.
Okay, like what?
Things like saying yes more often to spontaneous invitations. That's something I personally need to work on.
Huh, me too sometimes.
Letting go of that need for rigid planning can really open you up to unexpected moments of joy and connection.
Embracing a bit of spontaneity can definitely inject more fun into life. It's about being open to possibilities and not letting the fear of the unknown or the need for control stop us from enjoying new experiences.
Another great idea is to conduct your own fun experiment. Step a little outside your usual comfort zone and try something completely new just for the sake of it.
Fun experiment.
Maybe it's trying a pottery class or going to a dance lesson or even just messing around with a new creative app. The goal isn't to become an expert, but just to tap into that sense of playfulness and engagement.
These fun experiments sound like a fantastic way to rediscover interests you might have forgotten or even uncover new passions. Giving ourselves permission to simply explore and have fun without any pressure or expectations, that can be incredibly liberating. A powerful way to combat that fun drought.
And of course, the importance of connecting with people who bring you joy, that can't be overstated, right?
Definitely not.
Fun often has this contagious quality, and spending time with people who are lighthearted and positive can make a huge difference in your own experience of fun.
Our social connections are just so vital for our overall well-being. Intentionally cultivating those relationships and making time for people whose company we genuinely enjoy is a really powerful way to nurture more fun in our lives.
And a particularly relevant point in our tech-heavy world, intentionally taking breaks from screens.
Yes.